Hello everyone, Chase here at Rocky Mountain ATVMC, and these are my top 5 tips to have the best experience possible at a Supercross race. All right guys, so as you can see, I'm here in cold, wet, rainy, and snowy Utah. But lucky for us, we're actually getting ready to hit the road and go down to Anaheim, California for the first round of the 2018 Monster Energy Supercross season. Now, we thought this would be a good time to share with you guys our top 5 tips to help you get the most out of Supercross, or the Supercross race. We think that a Supercross race is something that every motocross fan should attend at least once in their lifetime, because honestly, in my opinion, it's an experience you will not forget. It's an awesome time for friends and family, so we want to share with you our top 5 tips that's going to help you guys get the most out of your Supercross experience. All right guys, so tip number 1 actually starts before you even get to the races. And what I'm talking about is seat selection. Now every stadium is going to be different, whether it's a baseball or a football stadium. But what we found is that most people, when they're going to a Supercross race, they like to pick tickets that are really down low and close to the track. And if that's what you want to do, that's totally fine. It gets you closer to the riders, it gets you closer to the track, so you feel like you're right in the action. However, what we have found over the years is that we like to actually go up a little bit higher in the stadium. The reason we say that is because it just gives you a better vantage point. You can see more of the tracks, you're able to see more of what's going on. Because when you're down lower, a lot of times that will limit you to only being able to see one part of the track, and you kind of get lost because you can't see where the riders are at the entire time. So if you go up just a little bit with your seat selection, that's going to allow you to give a better vantage point. You can see everything that's going on in the race. So that's tip number 1, is just choosing your seats wisely when you're looking at the stadium. And also guys, do not forget that we have our Ultimate Supercross Fan Experience, where we actually select winners for every round of Supercross, and we just show them a good time. We give them a swag bag, really good food, we give them a tour of the area. So make sure to sign up for that on our website. It's absolutely free. But also remember though that we do select the winners for each round a couple weeks in advance. So make sure when you're planning your trip, sign up early so you can have your chance to win tickets for that specific round. So with that in mind, I'm gonna hop in our Sprinter van. We're gonna cruise down to California, and we'll see you down there for tip number 2. All right guys, so tip number 2 is show up to the races early. The pits, they're an awesome experience, so if you have the chance, you want to come here and enjoy that. So when you're buying your tickets, you want to make sure you pick up a pit pass as well. Or if you actually bring an empty Monster Energy can, they'll let you into the pits that way as well. So if you have an empty can lying around, bring it with you. But when you're at the pits, it's an awesome experience. You can get up close and personal with the rigs, you can see the riders' bikes, you can see the riders walking around, and also there's a lot of cool vendors with a lot of cool products on display you can look at. And a lot of times there's really cool events. You know, there's BMX riders sometimes, so make sure to enjoy that experience. Now when you're here, obviously we know you're gonna come check out the Rocky Mountain tent, but also do not forget, if you have not signed up for Fantasy Supercross yet, you can do that here at our rig. And also every night, we select 2 lucky winners for a $500 gift card during the races, and you can sign up for that right here. So that's gonna be my second tip, is enjoy the pits. All right guys, so tip number 3 is for autographs and pictures. Now I know a lot of people when they come to the races, they want to get a picture and an autograph from their favorite rider, but there's a couple things you want to keep in mind when you're doing that. The best advice I can give is focus on your favorite rider and get their autograph and their picture first. But you also got to remember that for the most popular riders, say Roxon, Tomac, Muskin, Baggett, maybe Dean Wilson, that their lines, they get long and they get long quick. So it's really important. You want to find out what time they're going to be doing their autograph signings at. Now with some situations and some teams, you have to get a ticket. And if you don't have a ticket, you can't get an autograph. And the best way is to just go to that rig for the team and the rider you want. And look, a lot of times they will post what time they're going to be doing their signings. And if there's no sign there and you're not sure, just ask somebody underneath the rig. These teams are really friendly. They're there to help you out. But it's really important, know what time you're going to do the signing and get to that line as soon as that time starts, because the lines will fill up quick. And also remember that get your first rider and then move on to the next riders you have in your lineup, because it's so difficult sometimes to get more than one autograph and picture. But that's going to be my 3rd tip, is get in line quick for your autographs and pictures. All right, guys, so tip number 4 is you want to come prepared. Now, if you're going to be at the pits at the races, just know you're in for a long and really fun day. But if you're not prepared, you don't have the right clothing, well, you're going to be in for a long, uncomfortable day. So when it comes to being at the pits and be at the races all day long, here's what I recommend. Is first and foremost, comfortable footwear. You want to make sure you have a good pair of walking shoes because you're going to be walking a lot. And if your feet start to hurt, you're not going to be having a very good day. So wear some good walking shoes, but also remember, your shoes, they are going to get dirty. So wear a pair of comfortable shoes that you're not afraid to get dirty. Now, along with that, just make sure you're dressed appropriately. For example, here today in Anaheim, California, it's about 75 degrees, it's nice, it's sunny outside. So it's nice to have some sunscreen, you can have some chapstick, bring some sunglasses with you. But the big thing that I see a lot of people miss is they don't realize that in the evening time, you know, even when it's 75, 80 degrees in the afternoon, it can get pretty cool outside. So you definitely want to have a jacket, you can have a hat or a beanie of some sort, and just know it's going to cool off. So in the stadium, when you're not moving around, I've seen a lot of people leave early because they get too cold and they don't want to be there anymore. So going along with that, also one last thing I do recommend is earplugs. Inside the stadium, it can get pretty noisy with all the bikes, especially if you have younger kids with you. Earplugs are a nice thing to have with you. But you also want to remember, it's important, check to see what you can and can't bring into the stadium. You can actually find out that information on the information pages on Supercross Live. So make sure you check that out. All right, guys, so that is my 4th tip, and it's be prepared. So come prepared with the right clothing, check the weather, okay? You might need a poncho or a set of rain gear with you. And even if it's a slight chance of rain, I would come prepared, better safe than sorry. That's 4th tip, is come prepared. All right, guys, so 5th and final tip is during the night show is how to keep track of what's going on in the race. Because a lot of times we get caught up, there's a lot of good battles going on, and before you know it, you actually kind of lose track of who's in the lead and what the points chase is. So some good tips are when you're sitting down and if that happens to you, well, you got several different ways that you can kind of keep track of what's going on in the race. The first one is you can use the giant billboard or the giant screen that they have at all the stadiums. That will actually show, you know, who's in the lead. They'll show the good battles. Also, they'll have a pillar that'll actually show the top 3 riders that are in that main event. So if you look at the pillar, you'll know who's in the lead, who's in second, and also who's in third. Now, another good way is actually look at the finish line. The finish line will actually have a board and will show you the rider order, and it will actually show you how far behind they are. So it'll show first place, and it'll show how far behind second and third is. And so you can look at that to get a good idea as well. And the last tip I have is during the races, you can actually look at the track. They have lights that are put out that will actually follow the leaders, and they'll light up as the leaders go by. So if you ever lose track, you're not sure who's in the lead, you're not sure what's going on, you can use those tips to help get on track and know exactly who's in the lead and what's going on in the race. So that's my 5th and final tip, is keeping track on the race. All right, guys, so those are my 5 tips to help you get the most out of your Supercross experience. And I want you to take advantage of this because most people only get a few chances to go to a Supercross race. So get your friends, get your family, get your tickets, and get out here and have a good time. Now, one last bonus tip that I have for you is something really special we do here at Rocky Mountain. We have RM Fantasy SX. You can go onto our rmfantasysx.com website, you can sign up, and it's free to play. And you just make your top 5 picks for the round in a wild card, and we give away some really cool prizes, and that's an awesome way to really just have more excitement, even more fun when you're watching the races. So I'm Chase here at Rocky Mountain. We'll see you on the trails.